Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 22nd. Parshas Shoftim. But yesterday we said
something. It's Tuesday, or maybe
it's Tuesday all day today. I saw the weather forecast, and yesterday we spoke about Parshas Rei. So I just wanted to finish off a thought that I had on Parshas Rei, and then we'll go into the Mishnah Berurah of Hilchos Krishma. The Parsha starts last week with See, I've given before you today a blessing and a curse. And if you remember yesterday we talked about that sometimes the same thing can be both. And then something interesting that I noticed. I'm always looking see if anybody comments on this. Then it explains. The next pasuk starts with Esa Bracha. I'll read in English. The blessing that you hearken to the commands of Hashem your God that I command you today. Okay, so by the blessings, it doesn't say it with any contingencies. It just says Es HaKlola. When it comes to Es HaBracha, like once again, by the blessing, it just says Es HaBracha. Asher Tishmun, the blessing that you will listen to. V'haklola, and the curse, Im lo sishmuel mitzvos, if you will not listen. So by the blessing, it says you will listen. By the curse, it says, and if you won't listen. So it's just a lesson to learn, I think, that you have to have a positive attitude. Hashem has a positive attitude. He tells you, today I give you the blessings and the curse. The blessing you will listen, you will get because you will listen to. The if you will not listen to. You follow?
Maybe he gives them it's in the affirmative that you will
right,
listen.
You will listen. You know, that you will listen. And there's no option. Now, I wasn't going to speak about this, but...
what do you mean by bracha that you tishmu? Blessing that you listen?
In other words, you get the blessing because you listen to the mitzvahs.
It doesn't say the mitzvah.
Yeah, Asher Tishmu el mitzvos Hashem Elokeinu. Okay, you will get the blessing because you will listen to the mitzvahs, and the curse if you will not listen to. So it's basically you have the option. But Hashem puts it in such a way that by default you will get the blessings because you will listen to. And God forbid if you don't listen to, then you get the curses.
Let me ask you, it said, let's say somebody is a really, really good-hearted person.
Yes.
And he doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, he doesn't keep the mitzvot, but he doesn't do anything wrong.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets punished? Reality?
Well,
let's say he's home, he's farming, Shabbos, he doesn't care about anything, and he doesn't do anything.
Okay, he's like a Gentile. They're very, very nice people. They actually get reward, and it's fine. But if you're Jewish,
but it said you get punished.
But if you're Jewish, then it's not enough being a nice guy.
It's very interesting, no?
Not enough to be a nice guy. Okay.
Even though you're not doing anything wrong to eyes of anybody.
Because there are two parts to being a Jew. There's a part between you and your fellow man, and part between you and God. Chances are that
he has a farm in Hawaii, and he's doing.
Chances are that if you are Jewish, and you're not following Hashem's laws, and you are a nice guy, you will fall. There will be traps where you're a nice guy as long as it doesn't cost me anything. But once it costs you something, you start cheating your fellow Jew too, and you start not being nice because that's just the way it works. So we touched on the word that you have an option. We spoke about this once before that we're always faced with this dilemma: do we really have an option, or is everything guided by Hashem? Is it destiny or is it choice? And this is something that people struggle with all over the place. And I personally think that we're too obsessed with that question. I put right now here a box of tissues and a protein shake, and I say, Ari, pick whichever one you want. So you may take the box of tissues. You can say it was your option to pick that, or you can say Hashem made you pick that. So people, like, what is the answer? Or what if I tell you, pick the protein shake, and you will listen to me? Does that mean that you didn't have an option? You felt like listening to me. Mm-hmm. But you really had the option to take the other one. So in the same vein, Hashem may ultimately know in advance what you're going to do, but we really have the option to do what we want when it comes to doing a mitzvah.
I heard from a rabbi, freedom of choice. I heard from a rabbi. It's for us, time is
time goes over. Stretches over.
He explained. He said, let's say getting from here to there. Let's say distance.
Takes a year.
Let's say it takes a year, and you doing it. Hashem not doing anything,
right.
And you coming all the way, close. You're doing it. It's
right.
It's your split second. Then you finish it. Then Hashem knows.
I see. Okay.
There's no way out of it. You are there.
I say something different. That for us, it's we start doing something. Let's say we're going to go. I have a choice now to go to shul or to go to a baseball game. So I get in my car, I drive. It takes me 2 hours, and I get there. So it took me 2 hours, and I made the choice to go to the baseball game. For Hashem, there's no time. So everything happens everything happens instantly. So there's no before or after. There's no knowing what you did. There is no concept that you knew before or after by Hashem. It's all happened at the same time. So what you wanted to do, what you're doing, and after you did it is all at the same time with Hashem. So it's very hard to understand. And the best thing to do is not to worry about it. That's God's problem, not my problem. That's thank God. I got other problems.
Hashem doesn't give us so much knowledge to understand this.
Right.
So we don't.
Beyond our capability.
Not capable of understanding.
So beyond the capability, don't worry about it.
The only other thing I wanted to point out to you that if you take the words in the Torah, es habracha asher tishmu, which means the blessings you will get because you will listen to the mitzvahs, the last letters of those 4 words, es is a taf, habracha is a hey, asher is a resh, tishmu is a vav, is Torah. Tav, vav, resh, hey.
Really nice.
Okay? So, if you listen to the Torah, you'll get the blessings.
What the Torah means?
Torah means to teach. Torah is a textbook. It's an instruction manual. I always say
is
that
there any word in the Torah that says Torah?
Yeah. The word Torah is in the Torah about 6 times. If you bought a video camera, you'll read the instruction manual. If you buy a computer,
how they translate Torah.
Torah is a teaching, a guide. And the Torah is our instruction manual.
Does it have any that have roots?
The roots is Torah.
No, I'm saying, let's say, any word has
linguistic. You're talking about like phonetic. Is it?
No, let's say Shema, Tishmeu.
Right. No, Torah is the root. There are other words that come from that.
Haftarah.
Yeah. Torah is also the numerical value of Torah is 611. We know we have 613 mitzvahs, but Hashem uttered 2 of them. 611 he gave it to Moshe Rabbeinu to give to us. So 2 came directly from Hashem, and 611 came from Moshe. So that's what Torah is. Morning.
I didn't get you. The 2 is from Moshe or 2 from Hashem?
2 from Hashem.
As we say, everything's from Hashem.
Everything, but directly we heard from the mouth of Hashem,
no.
as much as we can comprehend what it means from the mouth of Hashem.
But the first with the mitzvah, Ani Hashem, I mean you believe in it.
The first of the 10 commandments. Onochi Hashem Elkecha, I am your God. That's the first
So that's
commandment.
a mitzvah?
That's to know that He is God. Yes, to believe that He is the God. And the other one is lo yiluch, that you should not have any other
That's
God.
the answer. The first
So
one.
those 2 we heard directly from Hashem, and then the people, everybody started fainting. It was too powerful. So Moshe took over.
Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
All right. So we're holding in the middle of Hilchas Krishma, and here's an interesting halacha. Both how important Krishma is, and how you have to have intentions and by it, and if you didn't, you have to repeat it. The Torah is also very, very conscious and concerned about a person's, not only about a person's well-being, but about a person's livelihood. It doesn't make light of it. The Torah is always making sure that we watch what we have and that we shouldn't throw out money. In fact, there are many halachas that we give leniency in cases where there is a tremendous loss of money. We actually not necessarily violate a biblical law, but there are other laws that we have that if it's in a situation where you're going to lose a lot of money, the Torah does not want you to do that.
Also lying.
Excuse me?
Also lying.
What about lying?
Let's say somebody wants to kill you or something, and you have to lie.
Oh, yeah, to save your life, you can do anything. To save your life, you can violate 600 out of the 613 commandments. There are 3 commandments you can't violate to save your life. You know what they are?
Belief in God?
No. Well, but what do you mean violate? If somebody comes over to you and tells you, I'm going to kill you if you don't do this and this. 600 out of the 613 you have to do, rather than allow yourself to get killed. But there are 3 of them that you have to allow yourself.
Let's say worship idol. You're not really going to worship. You just want to walk away from it.
No, but not in your heart. So one of them is worshiping idol. If he makes you worship an idol, to bow down to and to pronounce, whatever worshiping idol means, and it's a whole discussion.
It's not even place, people watching you and everything else.
That's something else. That's something else that.
Somebody.
So basically, adultery, worshiping idols, and if somebody comes over to you and says to you, if you don't kill that person, I'm going to kill you. You have to allow yourself to get killed. Okay?
By adultery means relation.
In fact, if somebody came over to you and says, if you don't kill that person, I'm going to kill 1,000 Jews, you still have to, you can't kill that person, even if it means saving 1,000 Jews.
Really?
Or 1,000,000, or the whole nation. Okay. So these
adultery means a Jewish lady which is married?
A married Jewish woman.
Jewish?
Has to be Jewish, yes. To fall into that category. To give up your life, you cannot have relations with a married Jewish woman. Okay, so why did I bring this up? Because let's say you're in the middle of working, you're in the middle of a deal or something, and all of a sudden the time has come to say Krishma. What do?
Have to stop, no?
There's probably some leniency if the Torah is so important, if the Torah gives so much importance to Parnasa.
Right.
It's probably a leniency where you can...
So we said yesterday there are 3 parts to Krishma, 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph you have to do. But once you finish with the first paragraph, you can go back to work.
Okay. If your boss is Makbid.
No, even if your boss, you have to read the first Parsha Krishma. Even though if not, you're going to lose your job. You still have to read it. But afterwards, which takes you a minute or two, but afterwards, you can stop what you're doing. And you can stop the Krishma. You can go back to what you were doing, and finish it some other time. It just goes to show that we're not a fanatical religion. Like we don't have to give up everything.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Morning, Rabbi.
You fulfill the mitzvah even now?
Yeah, Rabbi, can you just 1 minute because I'm in the middle of recording something. Okay, thank you. I'll. Oh yeah. Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
You're fulfilling the mitzvah of Kriyat Shema even.
That's a biblical mitzvah.
No, in the morning, even though you don't have the tefillin on.
Yes. It's preferred to do it with the tefillin, but it's absolutely fulfilling the mitzvah. Now, what happens if you walk into shul and they're saying Shema Yisrael? What are you supposed to do? You're not holding there. What should you do? So the answer is very quickly. I want to finish these two halachas that you should say it with them. Otherwise, when the shul is saying Shema Yisrael, they're accepting God's kingship and the yoke of the Torah. And if you're not going to say it with them, it looks like you're not among it. You're not accepting it.
Well, then you go back again and repeat it yourself.
Then you do it yourself. Yeah.
It doesn't cost a doubling.
Excuse me?
You can repeat it.
In that case, you can repeat it because it's obvious that you said it the first time because the whole shul was saying it. On your own, you're not allowed to repeat it twice.
Maybe it's going to take maybe 20 minutes and you get to whatever.
Now, what if you're in middle of davening and you're at a place where you're not allowed to interrupt? I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, like the various places where you daven, where you're allowed to interrupt, where you're not allowed to interrupt. So what if you're in the middle of davening and you're holding in a place where you're not allowed to interrupt, even for Shema, but the whole shul is saying Shema? What should you do?
Keep quiet.
No, so you would think it's to keep quiet. That would be my guess too. But the Shulchan Aruch disagrees with both of us. And it says what you should do is fool everybody and make it look like you're saying. So, and it says you should say it with the same tune as the shul is saying Shema Yisrael. So let's say the shul's custom is to say Shema Yisrael Hashem. So if you're holding somewhere else, you're going to say Baruch She'amar. You should do it with the same tune, so that it should look like you're part of them.
Let me ask you, which one is more important, Shema or Shemona Esrei?
Shema.
Really?
No question about it. Yeah. Shema is biblical. To daven Shemona Esrei is not necessarily biblical.
If you have time for one of it?
If you have time, one of them say Shema. Yeah. And the Zman to say Shema, the time period to say Shema is a lot shorter. You got to do that before Zman Tefillah. There's Zman Krishma and Zman Tefillah.
2 hours?
It's usually about an hour. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.
Hopefully.